Hey everybody, Peter Zeihan here. For those of you who haven't been following me for a while, you may not know that I back a charity called MedShare, who provides medical assistance to communities who, through no fault of their own, have lost the ability to look after themselves. In this specifically, I support their Ukraine fund. The primary reason we're doing a new fundraiser in the month of June is very simple. The Russians have dusted off an old Soviet strategy. They're bringing out their really large bombs, things called the Fab 1500, the Fab 2500, the Fab 3000. Basically, the number is the kilogram weight of the weapon, and somewhere between half and 2/3 of the weight is high explosive. So you're talking about weapons that have 6 to 10 to 20 times the explosive capacity of most of the bombs that the United States drops, and they've now been married to a rudimentary glide and targeting system, which is kind of a poor man's cousin of joint direct attack munitions. Those are the things that the United States uses in order to hit targets within a few feet. The Russians aren't that accurate. They're usually only going to hit it within about 100 feet or so. But when you have a metric ton of explosives in play, that's more than enough. We saw these weapons first used in the Battle of Avdiivka earlier this year, when the Russians dropped a couple hundred of them in less than 48 hours and just obliterated the Ukrainian positions. What has changed recently is the Russians are now targeting civilian areas with these weapons, specifically going after power plants. Now, in years past in this conflict, when the Russians would go after the power grid, they would usually use a swarm of Iranian imported Shahed drones, which only have warheads of a couple of dozen pounds, and they'd send them in to target things like transformers. Well, now dropping a metric ton of bombs on a electricity generating assets just leaves a crater. So it used to be that the Ukrainians could get their power back up and running in a matter of hours to days. Now you're talking about a complete physical reconstruction of power generating facilities, and even in the most aggressive circumstances where money and security are not issues, you're talking about months, probably over a year. So the power plants that the Russians have managed to take out in the last 3 months, they're not coming back anytime soon. And that just leaves the Ukrainians forced to rely upon power imports from the European Union. Anyway, for the month of June, we are doing a funds match. So we will match the first $50,000 of donations to MedShare. We have a link that we are attaching to this email and this video. I urge you and anyone you know to give whatever sort of support that you can give. The Ukrainians have been fighting for their lives for over 2 years now, and now the Russians are doing what they can to destroy what is left of the Ukrainian ability to look after themselves. Specifically in this sort of situation, MedShare tends to help hospitals keep the lights on with diesel generators and fuel, and then of course come in with surgical kits, because everything about the supply chains in Ukraine has been gummed up by the Russians going after the physical infrastructure. It's designed to cause as much civilian hardship as it possibly can. And MedShare, far braver than I am, is right there in the thick of it, trying to help people however they can. So please, please, please dig deep, and I will see you next time.